What other drugs have you tried?
Almost all of them.
Almost all of them.
The fentanyl people, ridiculous amount of people already. I know over 10 people that I personally knew.
I had my leg smashed out and I wound up getting hooked on pain pills.
Just I'm starting to get old. I just got out of hernia surgery and now just trying to get better, you know?
From city to city, canvas shelters crowd the sidewalks. Bridges transform into sprawling shantytowns. And folks survive shift to shift without a true home. They sit out in plain sight, blending into the scenery. The sheer magnitude is exactly what sets the Golden State apart. Whole avenues and districts are defined by folks simply scraping by on their last few possessions. A few shuffle past, completely exhausted. Several haul their entire world alongside them, gripping their final memories. For the majority, rock bottom was not an overnight drop. Things slipped away slowly until the pavement became their only refuge. You were looking at the raw, unedited reality of the West Coast. Watch this entire piece, because the upcoming footage is far too intense to just swipe away. This is the present situation regarding unhoused populations out west. The Golden State is still battling a massive unhoused epidemic unmatched nationwide, as everyday routines everywhere are heavily impacted by residents lacking permanent shelter. The 2025 Midnight Census projected roughly 171,000 individuals lacking permanent shelter during one specific evening. However, a major positive trend emerged. Unhoused numbers decreased by almost 9% across the region, marking the steepest 12-month drop seen in over 15 years. Looking at the Los Angeles area alone, the 2025 tally registered approximately 67,777 unhoused individuals. Although street populations dropped roughly 14% across 24 months, the personal struggles behind these statistics hit way harder than a data spreadsheet. Down south, moms tuck their kids into sleeping bags beneath massive highway bridges. Up north, former military members wait silently on park seats, seeking a secure spot to doze. Near the southern border, youths roll grocery buggies packed with their entire livelihoods. Up in the Central Valleys, formerly employed workers are currently sleeping inside canvas domes. Housing costs simply outpace their paychecks. These sites aren't tucked away anymore. You see them bordering playgrounds, walkways, beaches, and highways everywhere out west. The stark difference hits hard. A region famous for dreaming big and breaking boundaries now directly borders blatant struggle and desperation. Yet amidst the chaos, a silent strength continues to thrive. Splitting a dinner? A tiny gesture of goodwill, a brief flash of optimism. Small connections like these truly fuel their will to push forward. This tragedy isn't happening far away. It is playing out live on the corners you drive by daily, proving just how quickly a normal life can shatter. If these statistics and journeys resonate deeply, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to Homeless People Stories. Our goal is broadcasting the personal impact of this epidemic, helping the public grasp the true situation out west. Part 2. When concrete paths evolve into permanent addresses throughout the largest metro hubs out west, a quick spot to rest for the night frequently morphs into a long-term concrete residence. This shift silently turns community walkways into actual bedrooms for countless individuals lacking alternatives. Inside the Tenderloin district, entire avenues are packed with structured canopies and plastic sheets. These setups form tiny pockets of improvised structure. The local housing authority's 2025 Midnight Census tallied more than 4,400 individuals sleeping outside citywide. Over in Los Angeles, the massive 50-block Skid Row contains tightly packed settlements where folks organize buggies, bedding, and communal zones to establish a sliver of normalcy. The newest 2025 statistics from the southern coastal hubs reveal tighter groups huddled alongside heavily trafficked boulevards. You will notice identical trends of individuals guarding intersections to defend their last remaining belongings. everyday survival is completely draining, offering zero personal space or safe storage lockers. Rest gets constantly interrupted by sirens or storms, paired with the relentless anxiety of being robbed. Self-worth takes a hit when dining, napping, and bathing all occur publicly. Still, humans demonstrate amazing resilience. Folks tidy up their spots, keep an eye on their block, split supplies, and hold tight to daily habits that provide a tiny bit of structure. These are not just tent cities. These folks are claiming the absolute last piece of concrete after being shut out everywhere else. The view brings up intense heartache mixed with silent admiration for their sheer willpower. If viewing this street-level reality moves you, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to Homeless People Stories. Keep tuning in for raw coverage. In a region where a roof over your head can vanish instantly, imagine the emotional toll of claiming a concrete slab as your temporary residence. Part 3. Fentanyl is swallowing the West Coast. This synthetic opioid is the most sinister element worsening the street crisis today. The drug has stealthily infiltrated countless tent communities and intersections, turning an incredibly harsh existence into a trap that is nearly impossible to break free from. Up in the Bay Area and down south, this powder completely dictates the rhythm of the streets. Based on early 2026 updates from the State Health Board regarding 2025 overdoses, the synthetic drug drove more than 85% of regional opioid emergencies. Throughout the Bay Area, the substance played a role in upwards of 90% of fatal reactions. Countless folks living rough use it just to numb the freezing nights, starvation, and body aches. Folks also rely on the high to block out the massive mental toll of having zero safety net. A quick fix to check out mentally rapidly morphs into an absolute death grip. The chemical scrambles the brain, drains all motivation, and turns simple tasks like chatting with social workers or filling out shelter paperwork into a massive mountain. Weeks melt into one massive blur. Tiny sparks of optimism die out, making the climb toward sobriety incredibly daunting. The toll is visible in exhausted stares that refuse to make eye contact, shaking fingers, and shaky vocals, reminiscing about lost dreams and better days. Despite the absolute misery, a handful still ask for assistance, gladly take a hot plate, and stubbornly grasp onto the tiny chance of a brighter tomorrow. We are not here to point fingers. It is purely about acknowledging how one lethal powder amplifies existing trauma, making staying alive feel like walking on glass. The crisis proves that beneath the obvious plastic shelters, invisible inner wars are destroying individuals who genuinely need serious empathy and legitimate medical care. If this segment struck a chord, please drop a like and subscribe to Homeless People Stories. We constantly upload these brutal realities to help society comprehend the true pavement epidemic. In a society where everything can collapse overnight, what are the best strategies to connect with and uplift folks trapped inside this endless loop? Skyrocketing expenses across the Golden State, and the massive financial pressure crushing the working class. Just beyond the bright streets of the Golden State, simply heading home is now completely out of reach for countless working-class families and single folks alike. Month after month, overwhelming lease payments and grocery bills silently force everyday citizens out of their homes and right onto the brutal pavement without any privacy. They lack a secure spot to sleep or space to just exist. Picture wrapping up an exhausting workday, just to find out your wages are mostly wiped out already. And that happens before you ever unlock the front door to your personal sanctuary. That exact nightmare plays out daily for massive numbers of residents crushed by absurdly expensive bills. Based on data from the state legislative analyst back in December 2025, a standard 2-bedroom apartment over here will run you an average of $2,680 monthly. If you want to comfortably cover those costs, your wage has to hit at least $49.61 per hour. That's practically triple our standard base pay of roughly $17 hourly. Down in Los Angeles County, a typical entry-level employee must grind out 98 hours every single week, simply to afford a basic single-bedroom apartment at typical rates. You're talking about working double shifts constantly, with absolutely no room left for sleep, relatives, or hope. At the same time, over 1.3 million severely underpaid tenant families across the region are fighting over a mere 25 budget-friendly spots per 100 individuals. That insight comes straight from the 2025 gap findings by national housing advocates. Exactly. Consequently, Whole households pack into tiny spaces together, eventually winding up on the concrete whenever those unstable living situations inevitably fall apart. The psychological damage cuts extremely deep. You get this never-ending pit in your gut, always guessing whether today is the day your shelter disappears completely. People face intense fatigue from dragging their entire lives around in a bag since renting is too pricey. Plus the silent guilt of telling kids why they relocated again. We aren't just debating random statistics. These are real moms desperately searching for a secure patch to spread out their blankets. Dads second-guessing all their extra shifts that barely helped. And young folks who sincerely thought hard work guaranteed a decent life. Out here on the West Coast, your security can vanish over a single hospital invoice, a landlord raising prices, or a missed workday, proving absolutely anybody is vulnerable. If these hardships touch your heart, please drop a like on this clip and hit subscribe to Homeless People Stories. That way we can continue exposing these unseen hardships to the public. Did you ever pause and think about how fast your regular payments might trigger a disaster, forcing you to look for cover right out here on the sidewalks? Where did all that funding go amid this disaster? Even as folks battle to survive outside on the pavement, a totally different narrative is happening secretly inside City Hall offices. It's a tale of massive financial resources intended to elevate citizens, which inexplicably never make it to the desperate individuals who require assistance the hardest. Since 2019, lawmakers poured roughly $24 billion of public tax revenue into initiatives targeting our unhoused populations. Based on various state reports issued through 2025, that is a truly unbelievable amount of cash, capable of permanently sheltering tens of thousands of households repeatedly. Still, investigations conducted by state-level watchdogs alongside national inspectors uncovered an incredibly bitter reality. Nearly a dozen distinct departments oversaw over 30 individual initiatives without any reliable method to monitor exactly where the funds flowed or if they actually worked. Down in Los Angeles, an independent 2025 assessment examining $2.4 billion of regional aid revealed massive holes in their accounting practices. Huge chunks of that capital bypassed standard tracking and lacked clear receipts. Federal watchdogs even warned that over $319 million was completely vulnerable because basic fraud protections simply didn't exist. The figures are truly mind-blowing. Billions completely burned. However, the setup created what investigators called an information void, making it practically impossible to figure out which tactics legitimately secured permanent places to live, or which resources just vanished completely inside bureaucratic red tape. For folks stuck sleeping rough out there, that becomes one more devastating blow to endure. They watch politicians pitch fresh initiatives full of promise, except they see those exact same tent cities sticking around forever. They get stuck on waiting queues that practically freeze, bearing the silent agony of realizing assistance is out there somewhere. It is simply unavailable to them. Dealing with endless paperwork repeatedly while you're stuck trying to sleep outdoors in terrible weather will absolutely crush anybody's willpower. These are former taxpayers who sincerely desire to contribute again, yet feel totally ignored by the exact organizations designed to rescue them. As we uncover these hard truths on Homeless People Stories, stick around until the finish. You'll witness exactly how everyday folks get heavily impacted by distant political choices. It serves as a harsh reality check that living on the West Coast right now means anyone might suffer a devastating crash if our trusted safety nets end up failing. How would you react if the funds designated to end this misery legitimately reached the exact people struggling through it every single day? Let's consider charitable groups statewide. They jump right in whenever massive government bureaucracies completely fail us. These charities serve behind the scenes as the sturdiest safety nets for thousands trying to survive outside. They absolutely refuse to stall for perfect legislation or bottomless bank accounts. Instead, they head right into the grittiest neighborhoods, handing out tangible supplies and offering real compassion whenever the world seems totally broken. Down south in San Diego County, Robust alliances between charities became a massive factor during the 2025 census of the unhoused population. We saw a 7% total decrease in street living, alongside an incredible 72% plunge in families stuck outdoors. That data is from the local task force in 2025. Father Joe's villages by themselves supply upward of 1,200 sleeping spots nightly via crisis centers, temporary lodging, and long-term assisted apartments. This lets relatives stick closely together rather than getting split up like numerous traditional facilities require. Over in Los Angeles, the people concerned sends out neighborhood support crews every day. Those workers engage with thousands monthly, distributing critical goods like toiletries and heavy apparel. They simultaneously provide extended guidance to grab identification cards, submit housing applications, and hunt for jobs. Up north, St. Anthony's does the exact same. A San Francisco charity provides upward of 64,000 complimentary dinners annually while treating over 11,000 individuals through their dedicated community health center. They tackle immediate starvation alongside the ongoing medical struggles that frequently lock marginalized folks within an endless loop. Such groups generally run on shoestring finances, surviving through charitable gifts, modest funding, and the relentless commitment of unpaid helpers. Workers and aides shoulder the heavy burden of countless tragedies, ranging from abrupt layoffs to surprise health emergencies and broken homes. But they faithfully return every morning. They memorize faces and cheer for hidden victories, like an initial reliable wage or simply getting proper sleep inside secure walls. Spotting tiny improvements brings them immense happiness. These dedicated advocates prove that combining genuine empathy with practical steps can rebuild a person's self-worth, even within environments where basic pride has been eroded for countless years. These are the folks holding on to the conviction that everybody merits being acknowledged, listened to, and offered a legitimate shot at a fresh beginning. Should the relentless grit of these grassroots heroes touch your heart, kindly spend a moment hitting the like button and subscribing to Homeless People Stories. Our channel remains deeply dedicated to sharing these genuine, people-focused narratives, considering how rapidly personal circumstances can flip for any Californian. Just picture the massive impact these local charities might achieve if granted steady, enduring financial backing. Tell us your perspective below. How can we actually solve the unhoused epidemic ravaging California?
So
Optimism is no longer merely an abstract emotion out west. It is actively materializing via highly organized, strategic campaigns that are ultimately producing visible transformations right in our own neighborhoods. The 2025 through 2027 governmental blueprint, spearheaded by the state's Interagency Council on Homelessness, establishes 5 distinct main objectives: transitioning folks away from street living, securing permanent residences, ensuring nobody ends up unhoused again, blocking at-risk individuals from losing shelter, and constructing a massively expanded supply of budget-friendly apartments. Initial statistics from 2025 indicate these strategies are catching on. The state registered a 9% overall decrease in its population living on the streets. This marks the most significant 12-month turnaround seen in over 15 years, based on early neighborhood assessments gathered by government representatives. Across Los Angeles County, deliberate funding directed toward clearing tent cities, adding emergency cots, and creating long-term assisted living sparked a 14% drop in unhoused residents across 24 months. Based on the 2025 official tally, meanwhile, San Diego experienced noticeably steeper improvements regarding distinct vulnerable demographics. General street living decreased by 7%, and the number of unhoused households plummeted thanks to specialized domestic housing networks alongside veteran-centered relief projects. Data from the Regional Task Force on Homelessness for 2025. These are definitely not coincidental victories. They stem from validated blueprints prioritizing immediate shelter paired with comprehensive social assistance, psychiatric care, and employment matching. Substance rehabilitation treats having a roof as the absolute baseline, rather than a prize awarded once everything else gets resolved. For an individual wandering for months without secure locks, lacking a protected spot for personal possessions, or missing the basic comfort of knowing their evening sleeping arrangements, Such initiatives deliver the initial genuine escape from this trap. A mom is finally spared from rousing her kids at sunrise to dismantle their campsite ahead of law enforcement patrols. An ex-military member at last possesses a legitimate residence for employment forms rather than writing down the pavement intersection downtown. A teenager fleeing domestic violence meets social workers eager to get them registered for classes or vocational programs instead of slipping deeper into isolation. This forward momentum feels incredibly personal. Gradual. Consistent strides are restoring shattered self-esteem through single evenings of guaranteed security. It demonstrates that once neighborhoods dedicate actual funding, monitor results transparently, and value citizens above partisanship, existences that appeared forever stalled can finally start progressing anew. We have navigated the harshest truths side by side here on Homeless People Stories. Please stick around until the final moments. Experience the profound impact of what deliberate, continuous reform genuinely looks like in modern America, especially inside a region where security might disappear for anyone following a single unforeseen disaster. Just imagine the intense optimism these developing remedies might offer the next individual who abruptly ends up scrambling for a roof. Let us finish with a prayer. While the glow fades across busy Californian hubs and silent neighborhoods equally, we reach the peaceful conclusion of our voyage, exploring accounts that are equally authentic and utterly devastating. We have examined the suffocating burden of leasing costs, driving employed households straight out of their units and onto the pavement. The pure exasperation of watching massive financial packages miss the mark on enduring impact. Then there is the relentless empathy from charity staff braving the scorching sun, downpours, and freezing temperatures daily. We also witnessed the earliest genuine indicators of improvement, a notable 9% reduction in street-bound residents statewide during 2025. That is the absolute best 12-month advancement achieved over 15 years. Beyond each statistic lies an actual living person, an individual who still rises every dawn praying for a cozy bed, just a private entry inside a tiny fraction of the globe where they can feel protected. We mean moms tucking kids under plastic sheets, dads constantly reliving that exact second their apartment vanished, recent graduates who trusted holding a job would keep them housed, and former soldiers hauling invisible traumas nobody else comprehends. Their inner toughness remains completely silent, yet immensely formidable. Tonight, we should all keep a spot in our thoughts for the folks still braving the elements.
There were
The strangers walking past us, locals we have never met, and individuals silently battling hardships away from the public eye. Let us never allow their human dignity to blend into our hectic schedules. Please accept this humble blessing from our crew at Homeless People Stories. We hope everybody lacking a roof tonight discovers warmth to block out the bitter chill, bouncing between danger and the unknown, getting some unexpected compassion, and discovering a genuine route toward a permanent roof. I really appreciate you hanging around until the finish. I can't even express how much I value you leaning into these tough experiences, absorbing their heavy reality, and keeping your ears open when the truth got hard to hear. Every minute you watch and the empathy you bring is what drives our mission forward, illuminating forgotten corners that usually slip right past the public eye. Did this narrative touch your heart? Please drop a quick thumbs up on this upload. That quick action pushes these genuine accounts out to a much wider crowd. To continue exploring the personal realities of folks living out on American streets, hit subscribe on Homeless People Stories and ring that bell to catch our upcoming uploads. I appreciate you showing up, showing compassion, and never turning a blind eye. Stay safe out there and watch out for your loved ones this evening. Catch you in the upcoming upload. Meanwhile, always lead with empathy.